Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor and welcome back to another episode of Fishing with Crendor, and today I am joined by...
Chad Wingerd.
And for people that are like, Chad Wingerd, who's that?
Ooh.
What did you do at Blizzard?
Well, I was a community manager for World of Warcraft for many, many years.
Many, many years, and you were Crithto. Crithto?
Crithto. Yep, I was. Keyword
I've been saying
was.
it wrong. Wait, I was. You recently quit or moved on. That's probably
I
a better
did.
term.
Yep.
But we're here to reminisce and go back through all your WoW glories and memories and
Many memories.
many memories. So, first off, why don't you tell us how you got into like just games in general? Because I feel like it's always the best starting point.
Oh, good grief. So, my best friend Paul, that I grew up with as a kid, was in a fairly wealthy family, so he always had the latest gadgets. He had the first Apple IIe to ever come out.
Oh wow!
And but we loved to, read Mad Magazine and go play video games at the arcade and eat pizza, and so
Typical kid things.
yep, pretty much typical kid. And so he kind of got me into video games. But when I got into high school, I really wasn't into video games that much. I played a lot of sports, and later on in life, after I graduated and moved on, he called me up one day and said, "I'm getting you an MMO for your birthday." And I said, "What?" And it was Dark Age of Camelot, and I was like, "Dude, only nerds play those kinds of games, the basement dwellers. No, I don't want to do that." And he's like, "Look, it's 30 days for free. If you don't like it, then you don't have to subscribe."
Yeah.
And so we jumped into Dark Age of Camelot, and I fell in love with it. And we were pretty hardcore. And that was a couple, at least 2 or 3 years before WoW came out.
Yeah, probably like early 2000s or like late 90s or something.
Yeah. So we played Dark Age of Camelot, and then when WoW open beta started, he's like, "We should go try this one." Since Mythic doesn't really know how to run a business, and sorry, Mythic, we were typical gamers. We were mad at Mythic for everything they did.
Yeah.
So we switched over to WoW, and I don't know. I guess at the time, wasn't really feeling it. I really enjoyed Dark Age of Camelot, so we went back, and then Mythic got bought out by EA.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last. We were like, "That's the last straw. That's it. We're up in arms. We're out of here." So we quit and we went full time to WoW. And so I was in fairly early vanilla and played all the way up to the gates of Encourage before I quit for a little while to go back to Dark Age of Camelot.
What made you go back?
Yeah, well, I got tired of raiding Molten Core every night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't enjoy Molten Core raiding and trash mobs?
That first pull when you came in through the portal, that first pull was so crucial.
I know.
I don't know how many times we wiped on that just trying to get in the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went back to Dark Age and ended up becoming one of the top Thurgists in the world.
I don't know what that is.
Dark Age of Camelot had 3 factions: Albion, Hibernia, and Midgard. And I played on Albion, and a Thurgist is this fire and forget pet casting class, and I was the best harasser in PvP. And I would run around in a 8-man gate group, and we would just kill everybody out in the what they called RVR, which is realm versus realm area. It was a wide open swath of land that you could just roam around and capture keeps. And so I did that for a while, and then the game just kind of dwindled. A lot of people quit and left, and it just got so boring and quiet. There was nobody to play with anymore. So I went back to World of Warcraft during Burning Crusade, and at that time, I started as Alliance, and then I switched to Horde when I went back, and I did PvP on a rogue for a while there.
Hmm. Is that like your first time really getting into PvP, or had you PvP'd in Vanilla WoW at all?
No, we PvP'd in Vanilla WoW. Believe it or not, I still have that. My first class I ever rolled in Vanilla was a Paladin. I was the actually, this is kind of funny. I was the out of combat Reser was my title. And back in those days, if you stood back far enough away from a boss pull, you wouldn't get into combat. And I would, as soon as the tank would face pull the boss, he would die, and a backup tank would pick up the boss. And I would quickly run in and res him before I got into combat. And then I would become his dedicated healer.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and that was every boss, every night, 4 to 5 hours a night.
That was your life. What were you doing for like a job back then?
Oh man, I was let's see, I was a manager on duty at a Marriott hotel in Los Angeles, and then I left that job to go become a restaurant manager up in the valley, this posh Italian place. And we had a lot of celebrities coming in there. Magic Johnson used to come buy food from us all the time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he seemed like a pretty cool guy. And then that was a horrible job, 15-hour days. I really didn't like working for the owners that I worked for.
Yeah.
So I got a different job being a customer service manager for a little garage, for a auto repair garage out in Laverne, believe it or not, and did that for a while, and then came home and would raid at night. And my best friend Paul whispers me, and he says, "You know, Blizzard is right there, you know, not far from where you live. You should see if they're hiring. Go work for Blizzard." And I said, "Okay." And I put in for a job at Blizzard and got hired a few weeks later as a game master, and that was the beginning of the beginning.
So, what do you do as a game master? Because I've always wondered that.
Well, back then it was you take tickets as they're piling up, people reporting issues and getting. Back then, a lot of the fun ones were when people got stuck.
Yeah.
Sometimes there'd be a hole in the world, or a place that they just got into and couldn't get out of, and so you got to, that meant as a game master you were invisible. You could port to them in the world and then pull them out of wherever they were stuck. I used to like doing that because I'd make it fun for them.
Yeah.
Most people had been stuck for a while and they were growing frustrated, so I would turn it into kind of a big to-do and tell them, all right, keep your arms and hands inside the void zone here and hold on, because there might be missing clothing once I rip you out of this hole. And I'd do something, I don't know, I'd make it fun like that.
Yeah. How do you, what would you have, do you just port them out or something?
You basically just sum them to your location. And so, and I'm, I don't know, I had a good time being a game master. It was fun. It had its challenges, but I was pretty fortunate because I was on an overnight team, so it wasn't too hectic, when it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Whereas the daytime crew had a lot more intensive work than I do, so I definitely have respect for those guys.
What was the most challenging part about it?
Honestly, it wasn't all that challenging. I really enjoyed the work. I really like relating to people. It just comes naturally for me. So I had a great time, and I very quickly was awarded at Blizzard for being one of the best. And it didn't take me very long to then make the transition over to the community team. I think it was just over a year. I was a game master, and then I joined the community team as a forum moderator.
Oh, I didn't know. So, at Blizzard, they hire specifically, game masters and forum moderators and community people. Or it's they're different ranks of a community manager as well. Yeah.
There's a few different ranks, and they are, each position as you move up has varying degrees of tasks and responsibilities, and and it's also really cool because back then it was just community manager or associate community manager. They weren't terribly defined, and they're a lot more defined now. So
Yeah.
people have a ladder to climb. They have goals to reach, and it kind of inspires them to work harder and move up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never knew that. You always just see like community manager, whoever, and they're just like, oh, they all do the same thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, on the face of it, but there's gosh, for every one thing you see on the front side of things, there's 15 to 20 other things going on behind closed doors and behind the scenes, and
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
I can imagine. So like, that allowed you to just focus on that. Like you didn't have to do any other jobs while you were doing all those things.
No, yeah, no, I had other things. There's report writing and sentiment gathering and relationship building behind. You and Zarum have communicated before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would help John out with the influencer program, and so sometimes he would be busy with other tasks, and so he'd ask me to reach out to you guys sometimes, and so yeah, there's lots of behind the scenes stuff going on.
Well, all right.
There we go.
Knew that would happen
Do we have to start
eventually.
over?
I mean, sadly, we're gonna have to start over. All right, but let's see, where were we before we were rudely interrupted? Well, I mean, you had your game master job then your community manager job, right? So like you were all out into the like didn't have to work at a restaurant anymore.
No, yeah, no, it's a full-time job, and it was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life was to go to Blizzard. It was not an easy decision to leave, and I miss everybody there a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So but I wouldn't be in this, I wouldn't have the opportunity I have now if it weren't for my time there. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful for the experience and everything I've learned, and the people I got to work with. They're all friends,
Yeah.
They are my friends.
So when you started becoming like a community manager and doing all that, did you play the game more or less?
I played it. Yeah, I still play it. I play it all the time. I play all the Blizzard games. That's almost, I'd say it's 90% of the games that I play are Blizzard games.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's pretty much me as well.
Yeah,
The vast majority.
originally we were community managers for all the different games. So we were encouraged to understand each one of them. So I'd spend time playing the missions in StarCraft, and then when Diablo came out, we were all right. Everybody, you got to play Diablo, get to know the game, and so I played a lot of Diablo, and let's see what else, and then World of Warcraft, of course. I maintained. I was in a progression rating guild when I first started there for a while, for about a year and a half, and then that guild kind of fell apart, and then I joined a guild that we created there at Blizzard with the community folks, and we were progression raiders, and then all of us got busier and busier over the years, and so I moved on to eventually join the guild that I'm in now.
What do you do now? Do you raid like a few nights a week, or is it more casual?
It's casual. I think we call ourselves casually hardcore or casual hardcore.
Yeah.
We're all hardcore about our love of the game, but there's no, like, we're not trying to be the best in the world. We just want to have fun, and if we're just wiping for 2 hours straight on a boss, that's not fun.
Yeah.
So if that means we can't do heroic, well, we'll just go do normal, because at least there's a sense of accomplishment, which is more important.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the best ways to look at it. Like, just kind of, you're taking it seriously, but you're still you're still like having fun and not being like, everybody, you didn't click it at the right time, Jimmy. You're kicked out of the raid.
But that suits some people, Like
Yeah.
I was that way before and just after joining Blizzard. I was very much about, being on cue, not stepping in fire.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be to some degree stressful, and
Yeah.
I get enough of that in my day job, so I'd rather just come and have fun.
Yeah, because I know, like, if you really like look at like hardcore raiding and everything, it practically is another job.
It is, but over the years, being inside Blizzard, getting to see these guys and what they can accomplish gives me that much more respect for them.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so many great guilds over the years that have just done mind-blowing things, going into the hardest raid setting and taking down a boss in gear that is not optimal, but they still do it. They're just that skilled, and it's really fun to see that happen.
Yeah, and why don't you tell us some of your like favorite memories you had in WoW? Because I feel like a lot of them probably are from raiding.
Believe it or not, they're not.
Really?
And I thought about this the other day. I was thinking about this very memory. When I first started playing and we were leveling up, we were on the Alliance side, and we were taking that tunnel that runs out of... oh gosh, I'm going to have to open my map. Let's see. We were in...
I love how it opens the map now on your character.
I know, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, Thelsamar.
Oh yeah, Thelsmar.
We were in Thelsamar, and we decided to go exploring. So we ran up the road to the north, and we saw the big dam, and we all rode across the dam, and we thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And we ran from one side to the other, and then we went to that tunnel into the wetlands. And we popped out on the other side of the mountain, just above Dune Algaz. And I thought, oh, look, here's a place to jump down. And didn't realize that it was, a good couple hundred feet.
Yeah.
And so I had 3 other friends. My best friend, Paul, and 2 of our other buddies were with us, and they were all following me. And as I leapt off this cliff, I remembered turning the camera around, looking back up, going, don't do it, guys, don't do it. But they had all, one after the other in sequence, jumped off behind me, and we all landed at the bottom, and everybody died on top of each other. And all of us sat there laughing for probably 10 straight minutes. It was the funniest thing in the world, because it was just, I died and made the sound effect, and then my friend Paul died and he made the sound effect, and our other friend Joel died and he made the sound effect, and then his brother died, he made the sound effect. It was just the best the comedic timing on everybody dying was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
So that's one of my fondest memories, was actually killing myself and watching all my friends die.
It's not something you hear very often.
Yep. Oh yeah, it was glorious. Let's see. This is kind of why I wanted to come out here to Howling Fjord, because right after this, Wrath of the Lich King had come out right after I started at Blizzard, and I remember when I took the not the Zeppelin, but the boat from the Alliance side to Howling Fjord to begin the quest experience. And you come up in between those cliffs, and you see that ship stuck in the side, and it's burning, and that was kind of the first time I really was blown away by the environment design and the level design, and from that point on, that became the most fascinating thing for me at Blizzard, was how the game has created the world. And lo and behold, over the years, the lead environment designer and his team are some of my most beloved friends there. I would spend a lot of time down there just watching them build the world. and it was so cool to me. Even the crew that would sit there and paint the underside of a leaf.
Yeah.
You know, I get to sit there and watch them paint it, and they're looking at references online to kind of get inspiration, and they're just such a great detail-oriented team. I have a lot of respect for them, and so I always love seeing what they've done with the world. So every expansion, you know, there's something really cool to go see. So I'll spend a lot of time just exploring around, looking at the world.
How often did you get to go like watch them like create the world? Like, would you go there a lot?
Oh yeah, almost daily.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at least 2 or 3 times a week. On average, I would go down there and just visit with them, and you know, maybe pass on some ideas. In fact, one of the story that I think is kind of funny was Christian Nairn, who plays Hodor on Game of Thrones, is a really good friend of mine.
Oh, really?
And we became friends when he came to Blizzard for a tour back in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in town for Comic-Con with HBO for Game of Thrones, and wanted to come by. He's a big World of Warcraft fan, and he said he wanted to come check out Blizzard. So we were like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
So we did this big tour, and we went up to the World of Warcraft development area, and I took him over to the environment design team, and we were, you know, the lead environment designer, Gary Plattner, was showing him how the tools he uses to build the world and put moss on things and make rocks and move stuff around and build trees and, oh, jeez.
Fall into the water.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. All right. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Take 3. Anyway, so as Gary just happened to pull up the moss tool, and they were building Mists of Pandaria at the time, and we were in the Valley of the Four Winds, I believe, and he started painting moss on the cliffs that he had that were built. And I told him, I said, wait, and then he quickly undid it. And I said, well, wait, Gary, put the moss back on there. So he put it back on, and I said, that actually looks pretty good, don't you think? And he's like, actually, yeah, you're right, that does look real good. And he had to go back through the entire zone and repaint all the rocks in there with the moss. And so I made like all this extra work for him. Christian just kind of stood there the whole time, just mesmerized by everything he saw. But that's kind of one of my funniest memories of working there, was making the environment team have to redo the whole zone.
See, you inspired the moss on the rock.
Yeah, the moss that's on the rocks there at the foot of the mountains and the cliffs that was me.
That's really cool. And it's like, it's a cool feeling to know you helped like put that into the game.
Yeah,
like
I kind of think of it like job security.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I go down into the environment team and I inspire them to have to change something dramatically, then I've helped secure their job.
That's true.
Frankly, a lot of them owe me thanks that they haven't given in a while.
Yeah. Like, remember when I got you that moss on the rock?
Yeah.
That's really, because I always really like the environment in WoW too, especially like playing it throughout each expansion and seeing how it changes progressively. And I think Northrend is probably my favorite, I would have to say. But it's like, I think a big part of that is because of the type of environment they're like looking for, like the Nordic frozen like winter and pine trees and all that. Like that's probably one of my favorite environments to be in.
I'm gonna guess Grizzly Hills, because I think Grizzly Hills is probably at the top of the list of favorites for a lot of people.
Yeah, I loved Grizzly Hills. I loved Howling Fjord as well. I probably like Howling Fjord as much as Grizzly Hills, to be honest.
Yeah, this is my favorite zone in Wrath. This one here. I love this zone. I loved questing out here.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah, what else is there? I always loved in Outland, like Zangar Marsh. I love that, like how it's all blue and the music's kind of like mellow and like jazzy, and like there's the mushrooms, and everything just feels very right in that ambience of that zone. That's why
it's
I love
it. Kind of a, Doctor, oh gosh, what was the name of that old comedic guy. For whatever reason, I want to say Doctor Strangelove, but that's not him.
No, that's the movie from
No,
David Lynch.
no, it's the guy that sang the Poppy song.
The Poppy song.
Yeah, the Poppies. I can't, man. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know. For whatever reason, that zone feels like it would be perfect for him.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
I know. Are we gonna have to go to Google?
Oh wait, it wasn't. Why did I say David Lynch? It was Stanley Kubrick.
No, it was like Doctor something. No, it wasn't a movie. It was an old like England had Monty Python.
Yeah.
America had this guy, and he would record these little comic songs and stuff. These funny songs, and then put them on an album, and then you'd buy them. And I can't remember his. Great, I'm gonna search now.
I mean, if you can't find it, the comments surely will.
Well, and of course it's not coming up. I don't. You know what? I'm totally missing the point here, or I've let everybody down at this point.
Oh, don't worry.
I should probably apologize profusely.
Don't worry. That's what being on YouTube is all about, is just letting people down and then having them yell at you.
Right. So basically what I was saying is if Monty Python picked the perfect zone to hang out in, it would be Zangamarsh.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. It's like a slightly depressing zone, and yet I feel happy there. I don't know if there's like some bittersweetness in that or some like poetic meaning, but
yeah.
I mean,
well, all the little glowing mushrooms you had to pick just so you could get the pet.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Sporgar.
Yeah, Sporagar. Yeah. I couldn't. Anytime I went to that zone, if I ever saw one of those mushrooms, I'd have to stop and pick it.
I know, I did that too. I forgot all about those. And I'm even there in my leveling series right now, and I still like haven't found any yet. Cause I'm in the eastern part. It's really good. And then, speaking of which, it's right by Nagrand.
Yes.
And that's probably another favorite zone for everyone.
Yeah, we PvP'd out there quite a lot back then. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love like the environment in games. That's why everybody always asks me too, like, oh, you should make like videos for other games or like machinima style like little story things. But I was like, I always loved the art and the feel of Warcraft and like World of Warcraft specifically. Like for that reason, is it just feels very, I don't know, it just felt right. And it's almost like cartoony in a way, and yet it feels real at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah, no, that's I couldn't have said it any better. That's exactly what was going on in my head as you were saying it. It's cartoony, but real?
Yeah.
How do you define that?
Yeah,
Cartoony real.
It's a very like unique art style.
Yeah. We could call it cartoony nouveau.
I like that. It sounds like it could be a coffee shop in like LA.
Everybody has to wear a clown outfit.
Haven't you gone there yet? It's like all the hipster people.
Yeah, and to get service you have to honk a horn.
That's brilliant. It's genius. We can serve like little bags of peanuts right before the
whoever gets
coffee.
rich off this idea, you owe us 10% of profits.
Patent pending, copyright.
Yes.
Trademarked, all the things. So yeah, that's really cool. The environment and all that. Let's see. Like, did you spend any time in like other departments at all, or is it mainly them?
You know, I liked making friends everywhere at Blizzard, so I would visit with so many different teams, so many different people. I like to appreciate everything everybody else did. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't want to just get paid to go in and do my one little job. I kind of wanted to understand what everybody else was doing to make that big giant engine run, and such a success. So I have friends in cinematics. I have friends on other development teams and other departments, licensing, and one of the guys I made friends with and still to this day love to chat with from time to time is David Kim, who's the lead designer on StarCraft. And in fact, he likes to troll me So if he watches this, David, you troll, he likes to whisper me and show off some new piece of gear that he got by pugging a raid and downing a really difficult boss. So he, so that's kind of our back and forth thing. And I'll just call him a big cheater because he's a developer and he's obviously cheating.
Yeah. All the devs cheat. It's well known.
Oh, yes, facts. Of course. Yeah. Brian Holinka, especially. He's the biggest one.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about that.
I love you, Brian.
It's funny because, like, so many people will, like, be, like, Brian, for example, he's kind of like the scapegoat for, like, all the things, and yet there's so many behind-the-scenes reasons for, like, things happening. Like, for example, if, like, PvP breaks, they're just like, it's his fault. Or, like, game mechanics, like, it's his fault. Or, like, they used to say, Ghost Crawler Greg. They always blame him for all the things.
Well, that's who we actually, that's who everybody should continue to blame. It's still his fault.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, he can take it.
Yeah, I mean, he's still affecting the decisions happening in the game just through his mind powers.
Yes.
Telekinesis.
Yes, yes, and he was really good at it. He could move pencils with his mind.
He just, like, walk past his desk and, like, a pencil flies off into the wall.
Yeah. Yep. I miss Greg now.
Yeah, he's on League of Legends, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's over at Riot, and he's doing really well for himself. I think he's gone up at least a position or two now.
That's
like
pretty cool.
The lead vice president, general global director of all design, I guess, or something like that.
That's a title far too big for anyone to have.
Yeah, his business cards are a 3x5.
You just carry him around. It's like in a briefcase.
Yes.
They're too big to put in your pocket.
Congratulations, Greg. Keep up the good work.
One thing I liked was when I got to visit Blizzard with Jesse for our thing we were doing.
Yes.
So that was the first time I ever got to go to Blizzard. And I noticed that the lunchroom, the cafeteria, had pretty good, like, sounding food. I don't know how good the food was, but I've always wondered, like, how good was the, like, cafeteria food?
This one time, I was getting gasoline and avoiding a question.
Right.
It was cafeteria food. I believe it or not, it wasn't terrible. And for a while there, though, I was on a really low. Actually, I still kind of am on a low carb diet, so there wasn't a whole lot I could order from them. So my favorite thing was to get breakfast, and the breakfast was fantastic. I loved going in there for breakfast. But yeah, the cool thing about it was you could go to the grill and order double cheeseburgers and get tater tots, and so when I would eat carbs, that would be the way to go. I'd get me a big bacon cheeseburger.
What's the grill? Is that like
like when you went into the cafeteria, you had the sandwich, the guy who would make you a whatever sandwich you wanted, or a wrap. And then they had kind of these preset meals that you could purchase. Each day there'd be something different, there'd be chicken or fish or, and then they'd have vegetarian plates as well. And then you could go down to the end, and down on the end was a chef on a grill, and you could just say, I want a double cheeseburger with extra bacon and extra gristle. and he'd cook it up and slop that puppy into a bucket, and there you go.
That's pretty cool. Because I was like, when I was looking there, I pictured Blizzard like having just like some gourmet chef guy, and he just like go up to him like, what'll it be today? And he's like cooks for everybody. But
yeah, I mean it's kind of what it is. But there's multiple gourmet chef guys there, and I'd say probably for a good year or two, I didn't even have to ask for or tell them what to cook me. Because it was the same thing every day for me. And I would walk in, and he'd just look at me, and I'd nod, and he'd start cooking it.
That's what they do for me at, like, Starbucks.
There you go.
Just walk in, they're like, coffee. I'm like, yep. I always get a tall coffee in a grande cup.
More often than not, people would look upon me mesmerized, like, what the? he just, yeah, that's right. Check it out. He's making my bacon and sausage omelet right now.
That does sound really good, actually.
Every day, bacon, cheese, and sausage omelet. Oh,
Now, do you
until
miss that now? Do you like have to make it yourself?
yeah, I have to. Yeah, my new job. We don't even. Yeah, my new job. I get free drinks at my new job.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, we don't have a cafeteria. I got to go someplace to find food now.
Yeah.
So we went to Costco and I bought 3 pounds of chicken salad.
That's a lot of chicken salad.
Yeah, I opened it up today and it's kind of scared everybody with the smell. It was good though.
One thing I also noticed, I like how this has turned into like us talking about Blizzard, but they had the workout room, and I remember
Yep.
just going into the workout room. There's just like one guy in there. I was like, I feel like not many people use this.
No, actually, no. That was something that always impressed me at Blizzard was how many people were really health conscious. Probably the most notable was Big Rene. Rene he kind of got some fame last year when he dressed up for Halloween as Khal Drogo,
Hmm.
and it went viral
Oh, really?
about how much he looked exactly like the actor from Game of Thrones, and Rene's kind of like the poster boy at Blizzard for staying in shape and eating right and exercising, and so there's quite a lot of people. During the odd hours during the day, it's pretty quiet, but if you went in there at lunchtime, it could get pretty packed. Between 12 and 1, somewhere in there. A lot of my friends would go in there and do their workout on their lunch hour.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's like you think whenever people think of like video game companies, they always think like, oh, it's a bunch of nerds or something, but like it's cool to think that they actually work out a lot, and I'm sure a lot of them actually like sports and stuff too. 'Cause I mean, I always like
Yeah.
sports. I always talk about that, how like I was a sports nerd as well as a video game nerd. It's like a double nerd because I grew up watching a lot of sports.
Double nerd's impressive.
Mm-hmm. I tried for the trifecta nerd, but I don't know what number 3 would be.
That's a lot of nerd.
That's a lot of nerd.
Suddenly, I want nerds.
No, just a big bag of nerds. I haven't had nerds in a long time, to be honest.
Oh gosh, now you're gonna make me reminisce about candy, which I haven't eaten in I don't know how long.
I haven't eaten a lot of candy either. It's like I got older. I don't know. Whenever I'd eat candy, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I'm eating candy. I'd be like, this is bad for me. I'm gonna get like diabetes now.
Yeah.
It's like that's how you know you're an adult.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. My buddy my best friend Paul, actually, the one who got me into playing MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
For Valentine's Day, he sent me a pound of the little heart candies.
Yeah.
And apparently now, when you buy them in the box, little pink box that you get during Valentine's Day, they're not how they used to be when we were kids. They were really chalky when we were kids, and now they're kind of like sweet tarts.
Oh. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So he went on Amazon and found the original chalky holiday candy hearts, or the Valentine's candy hearts, and bought me a pound of them. And because I can't eat the carbs, I still have them. They're right here. Help yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
You got the one that said yes.
I can really taste the chalk. It's like to imagine they're actually made out of chalk.
They probably were.
Yeah.
Or they are. I don't know. I mean, I can go right out on the sidewalk right now. We could do some hopscotch.
Let's see. This is taking a random turn.
All right.
So back to World of Warcraft. Do you have any other like favorite memories, just either before you even worked at Blizzard or after, or just anything in WoW?
Oh man, gosh, let's see. Before Blizzard, I'd have to say it was the night that we defeated Ragnaros.
Mm-hmm.
After the months and months and months of working our way through there. That's probably prior to working at Blizzard. That was probably most that was my fondest memory. Was our guild finally downing Ragnaros, and I think at that point we were wiping during the last seconds,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow got him down. With the majority of the raid had been dead at that point, so a lot of us there's just bodies everywhere, and we're all screaming in voice chat and with the few remaining people that DPS'd him down to death and didn't get killed by his one-shot moves. And so that was a really cool memory, finally downing Ragnaros. And I believe the first time we downed him, somebody actually got the little key to begin getting Thunder Fury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, somebody, I think that dropped, and of course we had to give it to our guild master.
Of course.
And I missed out on the opportunity to summon the boss. I forget how they did that. It was out in Silithus, right?
Yeah, it was out in Silithus. I remember that.
Yeah, and I missed that night where they summoned him.
He's the big wind elemental guy, right?
Yeah, I guess, what's his name? Windseeker? I don't know. Blessed Windseeker? I don't
Sounds like it'd be true. We can go with that.
Yeah, Super Global Director, Vice President of Bosses.
Windseeker.
So let's see. After Blizzard, probably the coolest memory I had was, or while I was at Blizzard, was when I got to see the Mists of Pandaria trailer. It was something that we were able to show Christian when he was there, and we got to go into the Blizzard Theater, and they queued it up and they played it for Christian, and the cinematics guys were there, and they were really, really anxious to get his feedback, and Christian was just speechless. It was just kind of one of those things where he was like, that was amazing. That was amazing. They're like, well, what did you think? Well, that was amazing. No, what did you think? That was amazing. And so we convinced them to play it again. So we all just sat there with the lights off and watched it a second time. And so that was really, like, every time Blizzard trailers come out, I get the chills.
Mm-hmm.
Because the full cinematics are just so amazing to me. So that was a really special moment, was getting to see that with him and experience his excitement at the same time as I was feeling it.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's I know my favorite trailer was the Wrath of the Lich King one, actually, with Arthas.
Oh yeah. Gosh, that reminds me. When I had first started, I was on overnights as a game master, and that was the year that we did the Worldwide Invitational in Paris, where Mike came out on stage and told everybody that he had one more special announcement to make, and it went black, and the guitarist from the Diablo soundtrack came out and played the first chord of the song in Tristram. And the audience there just went absolutely nuts, and we were watching that streaming live, and I remember all these moments that you get chills working at Blizzard. That was probably one of the neatest moments for me. Every hair on my arm stood straight up. That was a cool moment. But my favorite trailer, believe it or not, is the Heart of the Swarm trailer from StarCraft.
Really?
Yeah, that one is of all the trailers, they're all fantastic, but if I had to pick a number one, that would be it.
Why is that? What's your favorite part about it?
Just the scale. I mean, the opening sequence with the jets flying and the little gnome hanging from the rearview mirror, and then when you get towards the end of the trailer, that big Ultralisk charges through the city, knocking down buildings, and you kind of get this real sense of scale.
Mm-hmm.
And it just that trailer still today blows my mind. I love that trailer.
I don't know. Now that I think back to it, I don't know if I've seen that trailer.
Oh, that's like minus 500 nerd point.
I know. I don't know. I don't remember it. Maybe if I see it, I'll remember it. But like, now I want to go back and watch it because now I'm curious.
Oh, well, of course you need to. I mean,
Yeah.
any cinematic that comes out of Blizzard is going to be
Yeah.
the best. The best. I don't think anybody can produce better trailers than the Blizzard crew.
I agree with that. And I mean, it's where Taron Gregory works. So I mean,
Tarrant, yeah, yeah.
he
And
is.
funny enough, that guy started making machinima before he started working at Blizzard.
Yeah, I know. That's what I talked to him about that, and it was just weird how he made machinima stuff, and then they're just like, "Hey, you want to come work here?" And he's like, "Okay."
Okay, and
I've
now
been,
he's in charge of all the cinematics that are in World of Warcraft.
yeah, I've been trying to
Or
get
the
him on the
machinima.
show as well, but he has to go through all the Blizzard legal loops and all
Yeah,
those things, so bit
it,
tricky.
yeah, it's understandable. I had to deal with that too, and it's it's just you got to be careful, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, like I understand it too, but it's always cool when you actually get to talk to people that have more insider quote information
Yeah,
rather than just like someone who's like, yeah, I went and visited there once.
yeah.
So
Like what side of the monitor does Zarum have his coffee mug?
yeah,
That's insider info. I can't share that. I would be sued.
yeah, that's true. I mean, everybody already knows that he has '90s albums all over his desk. It's,
Yes,
'cause he's a
yeah.
big nerd.
Actually, it's just 99 Inch Nails album cover.
Yeah, we made fun of him for that, and I'm pretty sure he enjoyed it because after that he would be like, "I remember when you guys made fun of me." Like it was like an honor in his life, and I was like,
Yeah.
"I mean, if you want, I can keep making fun of you."
Well, he right before I left, he had brought his drums into work one day, and I'm trying to remember what I said, but I remember looking at him. Can I, and I grabbed one of his bongos, and I was like, "Do you want me just to sit here? Do you want to play a song, or I could just beat on this drum while you work?" Of course, he just kind of looked at me and gave me the stink eye, and I slumped back to my corner, left him alone.
Typical Zarhim. Yeah, a little known fact: he plays the bongo drums.
Oh, you just
Super
called him
hipster.
Zarhim. He's gonna kill you now.
He's whatever. His hockey teams don't even win. Oh yeah, that's what the one thing I wanted to ask you that I didn't ask was how did you pick the pug as your icon?
Funny. Okay, so I had originally wanted to be a flame revenant from Wintergrasp,
Yeah.
and because when I saw that model after Wrath came out, I said that is the coolest looking mob in game, coolest looking mob.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted that as my forum avatar, and I don't know, there was at the time there was this rule that you couldn't be something bad or inherently evil. I can't remember, but I was told no, you got to pick something that's neutral or nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I then thought, okay, well, I am hopelessly a bachelor, so I will pick something that the girls will like. And that was right after the pug had been put in the game with the achievement, and I said, well, I'll just be this cute little dog, and that'll drive the girls crazy. That'll be perfect. I'll be the pug. So that was tops on my list. Many years later, it didn't do anything for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I sit here alone, forever alone. Hashtag.
Hashtag forever alone. Have you gotten like a pug or do you have any pets?
I have a really fat cat.
That's almost a pug.
Yeah, well, yeah. She got any fatter, and her face kind of pressed in a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've debated for the longest time whether or not to get a pug. I keep hearing that they have breathing problems, and like
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I get really attached, and I just don't, like that would break my heart to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still debating, but I'm also in an apartment, and sometimes they frown on having dogs, so I
Yeah,
went with
that's true. How old's your cat?
I adopted her from a friend who had adopted her from a rescue, and I believe she's about 3 or 4 years old now.
Oh.
I don't think we really knew her age. I think the cat, she was rescued. Oh, jeez. Looks like we need rescuing.
We do.
Yeah, okay. This was a really great idea you had about standing out here in the lake.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I actually got it from someone.
Oh, there you go. Throw me under the bus. Yes.
Oh, I didn't say you.
So actually, she's one of the environment designers. I had inadvertently posted on Facebook that I was thinking about getting a kitten, and because I used to have a cat years ago, and I really liked having a cat, and so she sent me a message saying she had a cat, and I should come over and check her out and take her away because her other cat, who is also a rescue, was bullying her. So when I went over to her house, it's a full-grown cat, and at least a year old, and I thought, well, I don't want a full-grown cat. I want the kitten, because I want the Instagram hits.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a picture of a fat cat. They all want a little kitty. So but I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you say no?
Mm-hmm.
So I adopted this cat, and she was really skittish and very scared. Took her like 2 weeks to finally come out from underneath the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember probably about 5-6 months into having her, she was coming around. Every day I would sense progress in her personality and becoming a little more friendly and sociable. And I got pretty sick, and I was laying in bed feeling really miserable and laying on my side, and she came up and curled up into my chest. And she'd never done that before. And I thought, it's right in the feels, cat.
Yeah.
Here I was thinking I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep you. And you go and you do this, and now you're my bestest friend in the whole wide world. So she's my little fat pal, and she's running around here someplace.
I have a
Actually,
cat.
she's probably laying around here someplace, and she lays on her back with her legs spread wide open.
The true fat cat.
Yep.
It's like, yes.
Yep. My little fat buddy.
I have a cat. His name's Cat for short.
Nice.
Yep. I got him a year and a half ago, actually. And I grew up with dogs, so I'd always been like, oh yeah, I'm going to get a dog. And then I kept seeing people with cats, and I was like, I don't know, for some reason, I really want a cat, because I felt like I related to a cat more, because to me, like, dogs are very extroverted and outgoing and like, yeah, people, and then cats are just kind of introverted and like, I want to be alone. And I was like, I feel like I relate more to the cat. And so I got a cat, and now I've become like a full-blown cat person.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and if you're anything like me and you're walking through the store and you look up and you see some cool-looking catnip toys, oh, Kitty needs a present. Kitty a present, she's going to love it. That's me.
I always get him toys, and then he goes back to playing with like the really old ones or like random things that aren't toys that he's made into toys now. So, but I still try.
Yeah, no, and I can't do away with her toys. So every time I go buy her a new toy, it just adds to the pile of toys that she has.
Yeah.
So when we moved into my new place here this last weekend, she hid in the bathroom for almost the entire day, or at least a day and a half. And so I would stand out in front of the door with all her toys and hold it up because she was in the bathtub. Yeah. She hid in the bathtub, and she just stared at me from over the edge. And so I'd lift her toys up over my head and show her, and then just slowly drop them one at a time on the carpet. Go, come on out, play with your toys. But anyway, she's running around. After a day or two, she's good now.
They just have to be like, am I gonna die here or am I?
Oh, it was. I hated. I mean, I moved like 45 miles from where I was living before, and that drive was torturous because I thought she was gonna die from panic.
Yeah.
She cried the whole way down, and every time she cried, she was so wound up that her breath was really hot. I could actually feel her breath.
Oh, wow.
and it would get right into her face, and then she would start panting, and then I would start panicking, thinking that she was going to keel over on me on the way to our new place.
Yeah.
And so we finally made it, and I got her out, and then of course she hid, and
Yeah.
it just, you know, it wrecks your heart. I want her to be happy, so.
Yeah. I like animals.
And if Kelly ever listens to this, she's the friend of mine that gave me the cat. She'll probably be really happy to hear that she's doing well.
Yeah. Hopefully she listens. But I think we're gonna be coming up on the end here.
Oh, no.
Yep, we're closing in on an hour.
I'm
That's
closing
usually-
in on like 200 fish.
I've actually caught a total of 2 fish in this entire series. And
You're not clicking your little bobber?
Well, I can't because I'm going for the cinematic aspect.
Oh.
So I can't actually click it and then...
Did I just totally ruin a behind the scenes thing?
Oh, no, I've talked about this before. In one of mine, I think it was with a Rurikar, like episode 11 or something. I told him that, and he was like, you're going to catch a fish. And so I tried catching one, and I caught like a stick. And that's one of the things I've caught. I think I caught something else after that, like an actual fish. But yeah, so all this fishing and no fish. That's probably a record in itself.
Well, I got a reinforced crate. Oh, it's got frostweave cloth in it. What a weird thing to find floating in a lake.
That is kind of random. Find floating in a lake. I mean, this is a place where you'd find it, though. I mean, if you found frostweave and like stranglethorn, that'd be really weird.
I kind of want to find like frozen shovel tusk poop.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
make it realistic.
There's not enough poop in this game.
Yeah, I know. There's only like at least 15 quests on it.
I mean,
So,
you can go out to Nagran and get the little cherries.
Yeah.
You know,
Or there's the outhouse in Outland, or what is it?
Yes.
Hellfire.
make sure you turn your sound up for that one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, thank you for joining me. That was fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me. I'm really honored.
Yeah, no problem. Where can people find you if they wanna see your stuff? Probably Twitter, I'd imagine.
Yeah, Twitter. I'm at Chad Wingerd, ChadWingerd, and I'm now the community and communications manager with Gunner Optics
Oh, the glasses.
down here in San Diego County, and I love it. I'm having a blast. So you can find me on the Gunner Optics Twitter as well.
Sweet. I think I had a pair of those a few years back, but I don't know what I did with them. I think they're gone now.
Maybe you'll find them in the mailbox or something soon.
Huh, that would be pretty cool.
Be a
If
weird,
they just showed up
yeah,
there. It'd be
weird
really weird though.
coincidence, right?
Be like,
Right.
wow, I know someone there. That's kind of ironic.
Yeah. What a coincidence.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. And yeah, I'm always really bad at ending these. So, see you.